Rallies are to be held in Northern Ireland this evening to demand the restoration of devolved government at Stormont. There's been no assembly there in place since the power-sharing arrangement between the DUP and Sinn Fein collapsed in January last year. Today, the DUP accused Sinn Fein of blocking a new deal. Protests against the lack of governance began on social media, as our Ireland correspondent Emma Vardy has been finding out.
That we have no clue what's going to happen and nobody properly.
It started with a Facebook rant.
I want to do something about it. I want to try and say to the politicians, you know something, enough is enough and we deserve better. And
after Dylan Quinn vented his frustration at Northern Ireland's lack of government, he began to get thousands of responses.
So We Deserve Better really grew out of a video that I did in my outside my house in Fermanagh, and it was a call really for people to join me in some sort of campaign event to mark the fact that we were going to end up with a government for 589 days, and to say this is ludicrous, and I asked people to join me.
He's hoping this will be the wake-up call Northern Ireland's politicians need.
It's about saying we need something different here, and they need to resolve that.
Northern Ireland's devolved government at Stormont collapsed in January last year after a bust-up over a disastrous green energy scheme. Since then, talks between the DUP and Sinn Fein to try to restore power sharing have come to nothing. With no resolution between the main parties, there's currently little expectation of a government returning here anytime soon. And for some within the civil service, that's leading to frustration, because when it comes to big decisions, their hands are tied. There's £1 to £2 billion worth of projects that have now been put on hold. A major new transport hub for Belfast, a new cruise ship terminal for the harbour, and the rebuilding of the city's biggest Gaelic football stadium are just some of the developments that are all being left in limbo.
Well, economic growth in Northern Ireland is tracking 0.5% below the UK as a whole, and we're tracking about 3% below the Republic of Ireland, and something similar across other European member states. If Northern Ireland's going to succeed as a region, we have to get our economy growing at 2 or 3% a year. So that's quite a step change from where we are today.
And public services are suffering. Northern Ireland has the longest hospital waiting lists in the UK, with no politicians in place to help tackle the problem.
The waiting lists really extend across every part of the healthcare system. There are a significant number of projects that probably need to be acted on, but need the politician in place to sign off those agreements.
Today at Stormont, the DUP accused Sinn Fein of prolonging the deadlock.
There's only one problem party, and let's call it out, it's Sinn Fein. They need to end their boycott and allow government to happen here in Northern Ireland.
Sinn Fein insists it is up for a deal, but says the DUP won't compromise. Northern Ireland has now surpassed Belgium's world record for the longest period without a government in peacetime. Today, rallies sparked by Dylan's campaign will be held to urge politicians to resolve their differences. Emma Vardy, BBC News, Belfast.